Men twice their age, a party-prone hookup, a marriage-ending ex. Here's a look at all of the Olsen twins' exes. Film producer Matt Kaplan is believed to be Ashley Olsen's first boyfriend. The pair met when they were in high school and began dating circa 2003 when Olsen was 16 and Kaplan was 18. Despite her A-list status, Olsen was adamant that she and Kaplan were like any other teen couple, opting to forego fancy dates. Describing her love life, Olsen told Rolling Stone, "We go out to dinner, go to a movie, it's pretty boring." She also noted that her twin would often accompany her on said dates, a testament to their close bond. Unfortunately, this youthful romance was not to be. In 2004, the couple called it quits. The split was amicable as the teen twosome struggled to maintain a long-distance relationship. Olsen had alluded to these struggles when speaking to People earlier that year, saying, "It's been hard. A long-distance relationship is tough, no matter what." In an unusual twist of fate, Kaplan reportedly began dating another 2000s teen star, Lindsay Lohan, following his breakup with Olsen. Shortly after her split from Matt Kaplan, Ashley Olsen found new love with restaurateur Scott Sartiano, who is over a decade her senior. It was Olsen's Full House co-star John Stamos who introduced her to Sartiano. The couple courted controversy when the tabloid National Enquirer published a story alleging that Olsen was misusing drugs, which she supposedly procured from Sartiano, an alleged drug dealer. The Enquirer published an unflattering photo of Olsen apparently looking drugged. She denied the claims and subsequently sued the tabloid for $40 million. However, the lawsuit was soon dismissed. After a few months of dating, Olsen and Sartiano broke up, with sources suggesting that the relationship soon turned toxic. She was peeved that Sartiano sought to surround himself with models, despite having his stunning girlfriend by his side. An insider dished to Star, "Scott's constantly surrounded by models who are all over him and desperate to get into clubs. Ashley didn't understand why Scott hangs out with people like that." Meanwhile, another source explained that Ashley grew sick of constantly being compared to and pitted against said models. Ashley Olsen swiftly moved on to another older man, actor Jared Leto, who is 15 years her senior.
I'm listening.
In 2005, the New York Post did a profile on Leto's alleged fondness for teenage girls, noting that he and Olsen had recently dated. Olsen was 19 while Leto was 33. The romance appeared to fizzle for a bit, lasting all but 30 seconds, until the couple reunited in 2008. Olsen and Leto were spotted locking lips at an art gala. A source dished to Us Weekly, "They looked like a couple and they were making out." However, Olsen insisted that they were just pals. The former couple appeared to reignite their romance in 2012 when they were seen grabbing dinner in Beverly Hills. Insiders claimed that the pair couldn't keep their hands off each other, with Leto allegedly playing with Olsen's hair and Olsen putting her head in her beau's lap. 4 years later, they had a surprise reunion at the Met Gala, but there were no suggestions that Olsen and Leto were rekindling their on-again, off-again fling for a fourth time.
They'll probably do it again. People don't like to hear that.
Before he was hailed a national disgrace due to doping, Lance Armstrong was an American hero, the kind who dated an Olsen twin. Armstrong and Ashley Olsen were first spotted together in 2007. According to eyewitnesses who spilled the tea to People, the twosome got super close during an outing in New York, with Olsen appearing visibly flirtatious and sitting in the cyclist's lap. Sources who chatted to the New York Post echoed these claims, divulging that the loved-up couple spent the night locking lips. An eagle-eyed onlooker revealed, "Ashley and Lance settled in, and within minutes he was whispering in her ear and she was giggling like a schoolgirl. Ashley drank red wine, nuzzled up to him, sat on his lap, and they were making out all night. They left together around 2 a.m. As with a number of Olsen's beaus, Armstrong is considerably older than her. This was reportedly the source of much contention within Armstrong's camp. According to the 2014 book Cycle of Lies, The Fall of Lance Armstrong, the disgraced Tour de France champ, then 36, was warned against dating the then 21-year-old Olsen. John Coriath, Armstrong's pal, feared that the romance would damage the cyclist's then glittering reputation. Coriath reportedly told his bud, "Whoa, dude, bad idea. You've got to put a stop to this right now." However, Armstrong would not relent, apparently replying, "She's 21. You." He did eventually heed his friend's advice, with the couple parting ways after a few months.
She's a brilliant, talented woman. I mean, amazing woman.
An entrepreneur.
Oh my God.
The Hangover star, Justin Bartha, was one of Ashley Olsen's first serious boyfriends. The pair began dating in 2008 and stayed together for around 3 years. In an interview with Marie Claire, Olsen revealed that Bartha had provided her with some much-needed stability. She reflected, "It's more important than anything else in the world." In 2010, it was reported that the couple had been eyeing a swanky New York pad together. Also that year, sources claimed Bartha was ready to pop the question, having been spotted looking for engagement rings. No doubt, Bartha thought the second time's the charm, since he had reportedly asked for Olsen's hand in marriage in the past, only to be met with swift rejection. This time, however, insiders were sure Olsen would say yes. A source revealed to Us Weekly, Ashley has always been the more centered of the twins, and Justin is centered too. They mix well with each other's friends and calm each other. However, the pair opted to remain low-key about their romance. In an interview with the Evening Standard, Bartha refused to discuss his relationship with Olsen. He said, "I don't understand it when celebrity couples pose for pictures and invite people into their home, but it is a very unfortunate part of the culture that has entered into our society, which personally I find fairly disgusting." Alas, the rumored engagement never materialized, and the couple parted ways in 2011. Hollywood is in no shortage of odd couples, but Ashley Olsen and Dax Shepard are one couple we certainly didn't see coming. As Shepard revealed on an episode of Armchair Expert, he dated Olsen many moons ago. He recalled, "I just saw her at a party and I was kinda thunderstruck with the beauty." He noted that he began dating Olsen when she was first formulating her fashion label The Row, and he was mightily impressed by her work ethic and commitment to her craft. Olsen founded The Row in 2006, so she would have been around 20 when she dated Shepard, who was 31 at the time. Although he conceded that he and Olsen undoubtedly seemed like an odd pairing, Shepard said that they shared a sarcastic sense of humor and love of Scrabble, thus getting on really well. Shepard added that he had never watched Olsen in Full House prior to dating her. He remarked, "I luckily never saw that show because I probably would not have been able to be attracted to Ashley if I knew her as a baby." In 2013, Ashley Olsen brought a new man into her life. The girl boss began dating fellow fashion exec David Schulte, the CEO of luxury sunglasses brand Oliver Peoples. Both millionaires, Olsen and Schulte made quite the power couple. It wasn't to be, however, and the pair marked the beginning of 2014 with a breakup, having called it quits after just a few months of dating. An insider told Us Weekly, "He was a great guy and cute, but it didn't work out." Despite the split, Olsen and her ex were spotted getting cozy on a casual dinner date at the end of 2014. Although their romance appeared to end on amicable terms, Olsen and Schulte's professional relationship soon grew sour. In 2016, Schulte was appointed president of The Row in an effort to expand the brand's menswear range. However, he left the company without warning in 2019. Subsequently, he sued the Olsen twins the following year. Though details of the lawsuit are unclear, WWD suggests that there were ongoing disputes between Schulte and the sisters. The lawsuit contributed to the already uncertain future of The Row. As of 2023, the case is still pending. There's no denying that Ashley Olsen has a thing for a silver fox. Following her split from David Schulte in 2014, she moved on to director Bennett Miller. At the time, Olsen was a mere 27, while Miller was 47. Us Weekly notes that the couple had been staying toasty together throughout the winter months, with Olsen keeping her man company as he finished off his film projects. Miller has directed a number of acclaimed flicks, such as Capote, Moneyball, and Foxcatcher, all of which earned him Academy Award nominations. Olsen accompanied Miller to the funeral of his friend and collaborator Philip Seymour Hoffman, who won the Best Actor Oscar for Capote. The lovebirds were spotted on a casual date in New York, with Miller towering over his petite lady love. The romance soon fizzled out, though it's unclear when these two parted ways, or why. However, the split may have had something to do with Miller's admitted commitment to minimalism, in contrast to Olsen's well-documented love of luxury. He told Vulture in 2014, "I am a tumbleweed. I don't own anything. I've never owned a car or an apartment. My entire life can fit into a knapsack." We guess Millermalism just wasn't for Ashley. Speaking of older men, Ashley Olsen allegedly began dating artist George Condo in 2016. At the time, Olsen was 30, while Condo was just shy of twice her age at 59. The duo were first seen together at the Mercer Hotel in New York, with Page Six reporting that they appeared to be on a romantic date. However, Condo's reps insisted that he was having a business meeting with the fashion designer. The pair were soon spotted on what appeared to be a romantic dinner date at a fancy restaurant, with insiders telling Page Six that Olsen was cuddling up to Condo. An observer said, "It was obvious something was going on. It looked like she was dining with her grandpa, but they were holding hands and snuggling." Onlookers who chatted to People corroborated the claims. One such observer claimed that Olsen and Condo were nestled in a romantic couple spot at the restaurant. Radar reports that the alleged romance was a little sketchy since Olsen was pals with Condo's ex-wife Anna. Though Anna told the outlet that she was unsure whether the dating rumors were true, she also didn't rule out the possibility that her hubby was cheating with her now former friend. It was Matthew McConaughey in Dazed and Confused who famously said,
"That's what I love about these high school girls, man. I get older, they stay the same age."
Well, in Ashley Olsen's case, she seemingly doesn't age, but her beaus sure do get older. In the fall of 2016, she forgot all about rumored lover George Condo and began locking lips with art dealer Richard Sachs, who was in his late 50s. They were first seen together in a spin class where they exhibited palpable affection for one another, per Page 6. As Us Weekly reports, Olsen and Sachs were then spotted getting super cozy during a basketball game in New York. Sachs packed on the PDA as he kissed and cuddled his much younger ladylove. An onlooker dished. Richard had his arms all over Ashley, kissing and stroking her hair. She was laughing and giggling. He's also close with Mary-Kate's husband and was chatting with him. But after just 5 months together, the couple called it quits. Reportedly, Olsen split with Sachs in order to focus on her fashion career, but the pair remain pals. Like her sister, Mary-Kate Olsen has dated her fair share of heartthrobs and scoundrels. Her first boyfriend was filmmaker Max Winkler. As his name suggests, he is the son of Henry Winkler, aka the Fonz.
Hey!
But Winkler is adamant that he has never relied on the fame of others to bolster his own career. As he explained in an interview with New York Magazine, he fell in love with Olsen and had little interest in her A-list status. He sweetly said, "I dated an Olsen twin because I was in love with an Olsen twin, but I wasn't in love with her because she was an Olsen twin. I just thought she was so pretty and smart and cute." Other than that, not much is known about the pair's youthful romance, though a number of photos of the loved-up couple circa 2002 have surfaced on Twitter, suggesting that they were teens when they dated. A 2003 Rolling Stone profile notes that Olsen had her first kiss in 1999 when making the film Passport to Paris and was single at the time that the interview was conducted, so she and Winkler likely dated for just a couple of years. In 2004, Mary-Kate Olsen began dating David Katzenberg, who is the son of DreamWorks CEO Jeffrey Katzenberg. Katzenberg and Olsen got through some tough times together. Soon into their romance, Olsen was hospitalized after becoming seriously ill with an eating disorder. Katzenberg supported his girlfriend throughout her mental health struggles. Reflecting on this difficult period in her life, Olsen told Elle that she found it difficult opening up about her illness to those closest to her, but doing so ultimately aided her recovery. "I think the hardest part to get to is that point of asking for help or reaching out to other people and being honest with yourself. I do not want to go through my life with my eyes shut." After 9 months together, the couple parted ways. The duo reportedly struggled to maintain their relationship after Olsen began attending New York University. An insider told People, "It was a mutual parting of the ways and amicable. Being at different schools played a part. It's reasonable for her to start school fresh." 2 years later, there were reports that the couple had briefly reconciled. Insiders revealed that they spotted the exes getting close, holding hands, and giving each other love-struck gazes. Following her split from David Katzenberg in 2004, Mary-Kate Olsen reportedly set her sights on Ali Fatorecci. Fatorecci was buds with Ashley's then beau, Scott Sartiano, so it's probable that she set her twin up with him. By 2005, however, Mary-Kate had already moved on to a new man, Greek shipping heir Stavros Niarchos III. The pair were seen on a number of dates, cavorting on vacation in Hawaii and enjoying the finest eateries Los Angeles has to offer. Their fairy tale romance came to an end, however, when Niarchos set his sights on another 2000s tabloid mainstay, Paris Hilton. In an interview with W Magazine, Olsen revealed that she was distraught after discovering that Hilton, whom she considered a friend, was dating her ex. Subsequently, she admitted that she had fallen out with the heiress, saying, "Paris and I always only had nice things to say about each other. Now I guess you can tell we're not talking. It's a hurtful and painful subject. I miss Stavros, and I love him, and I don't speak with him anymore." Sadly, Olsen was so deeply affected by the betrayal that she made the difficult decision to drop out of college.
You are amazingly self-assured. Has anyone ever told you that?
I tell myself that every day, actually.
Following the untimely death of Australian actor Heath Ledger, there was much gossip and speculation surrounding his relationship with Mary-Kate Olsen. The former child star was one of Ledger's last girlfriends, having spent a lot of time with him prior to his passing. Insiders told People they had a bond that was based on partying, and they had the same tastes in partying, like in terms of where they liked to hang out in New York. In 2008, Ledger died of a drug overdose at the age of 28, his body having been discovered in his New York apartment by a masseuse. Before calling 911, the masseuse made a number of calls to Olsen, who was in California at the time and was on Ledger's speed dial. Rather than calling 911, Olsen advised the masseuse that she would call some New York security guards to arrive at the scene. These mysterious calls led investigators to believe that Olsen may have been Ledger's drug dealer. However, she strongly denied such claims. She told the Irish Independent, "Unfortunately, things will be written about whether they're true or false. Sometimes we do take action, but sometimes fighting it is pointless, and there's really no reason to engage." Over a decade later, there remains much mystery surrounding her relationship with the Aussie star. There's no mention of her in the 2017 documentary I Am Heath Ledger, potentially fueling further conspiracies. Between 2007 and 2008, Mary-Kate Olsen was reportedly in a string of casual relationships. As noted in a profile by the New York Times, she dated photographer Maxwell Snow around this time. The relationship was short-lived, however, and the pair called it quits in the fall of 2007. An insider told In Touch, they broke up mainly because she was in LA and Max was in New York, which made the long-distance relationship tough. The following year, there were rumors that Olsen had moved on to Italian businessman Lapo Elkann. The pair allegedly dated for a few weeks, having been spotted together at Paris Fashion Week a month after Heath Ledger's death. But in an interview with Elle, Olsen dismissed the rumors, insisting that she and Elkann were nothing more than great friends. In reference to dating rumors, she said, "One week it's that one week it's another. It's a good story, don't you know?" Chatting to Interview, Elkann also denied that he and Olsen were anything other than friends. He declared, "There is nothing to say. It's simply not true." Mary-Kate Olsen ended the aughts by dating artist Nate Lowman. Always a fan of packing on the PDA, the pretty pair were spotted locking lips at a New York restaurant in 2009. It was apparently a full house with dozens of diners looking in on the makeout sesh. There were even rumors that the pair were set to wed, though Olsen's reps denied this. Sadly, this proved to be another short-lived romance, with reports that the couple had parted ways in 2010. Us Weekly suggested that Olsen had already begun seeing another man, 2000's heartthrob Josh Hartnett, whom she was allegedly smooching at a glitzy party in London. A few months after their split, Olsen and Lowman very nearly had an awkward encounter following an Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros concert, which they both attended. According to Page 6, Olsen, who is living her best life as a newly single gal, deliberately avoided bumping into her ex at the show's after-party. An onlooker revealed, without making eye contact or saying a word, Mary-Kate dodged in the other direction. The two didn't have any interaction. Mary-Kate was laughing, dancing, and having a blast with friends while Nate was chilling at the table. Surprisingly, Mary-Kate Olsen has an awful lot in common with Oscar-nominated actor Michelle Williams. Indeed, the stylistically disparate women have two exes in common. Williams is the late Heath Ledger's baby mama, and she also shares ex-boyfriend Dustin Yellin with Olsen. Yellin is a visual artist who has frequently showcased his work in his native New York. It is through the art world that he met Olsen, who is famed for her penchant for attending artsy events. Yellin was first linked to Olsen in 2011. The twosome were spotted getting super close at the New York Academy of Art Take Home a Nude benefit. Just 2 years later, he had moved on to Williams. A deeply private person, Yellin has not discussed his relationship with Olsen. However, he did divulge details about his personal life in an interview profile, making some comparisons between his art and his sex life. With regards to his latest architecture project, he said, "I don't know if I'll ever feel like it's finished. You feel that maybe in a moment in nature, in meditation, or in a certain moment during sex, where the objective, if you will, is clear. But I think part of the process of making things is that you are always just making things." While it's unclear why he and Olsen split, he certainly knows how to utter the romantic words that every woman longs to hear. The star of Full House dating the brother of the former French president? You got it, dude. In 2012, Mary-Kate Olsen was getting super cozy with Olivier Sarkozy, brother of the then newly defeated Nicolas Sarkozy. At the time, Olsen was 25 and Sarkozy was 42, with the age gap apparently proving a welcome change for the designer. A source divulged to Us Weekly, MK is constantly complaining about boys not being mature enough for her. In an interview with the Wall Street Journal, Olsen dismissed notions that the age gap was problematic, saying, "Everyone has an opinion. I find it's better to focus on what's in front of you and to keep putting one foot in front of the other." In 2015, the Frenchman put a ring on it, and Olsen officially became a married woman following a low-key wedding in New York. But things weren't all rosy with Sarkozy. As with many couples, the coronavirus pandemic would prove Olsen and Sarkozy's undoing. In 2020, Page 6 reported that rather than quietly quarantining with Olsen, Sarkozy had decided to spend lockdown with his mother, ex-wife, and children, moving the family into the home he owned with Olsen. A source said, "It was too much to have his ex-wife living with them during the pandemic. Would you want the ex-wife living with you for an unforeseeable amount of time in the middle of a crisis?"
How exactly have you been looking out for me?
Their divorce was finalized in 2021. Newly single Mary-Kate Olsen set her sights on John Cooper in 2021. Those close to Olsen had previously told ET that she was ready to re-enter the dating scene after taking some time out for herself following her divorce. Like the fashion designer's ex-husband, Cooper is a businessman, and in his late 40s, he is quite a bit older than Olsen. A month after the Sarkozy divorce, snaps were published of the alleged couple dining at a New York restaurant. Olsen appeared in high spirits as she sipped wine and enjoyed her rumored beau's company. Although neither party has confirmed the alleged romance, sources told E! that the twosome were clearly smitten on their dinner date. An onlooker said, "It definitely looks like they are dating. There was a lot of flirting going on. They were constantly looking over and smiling at each other." Insiders told Us Weekly that as two successful business people, Olsen and Cooper seemed like a perfect match. A source explained, "He's not affected by fame and fortune because he does well himself. Business is attractive to him. If he's doing well, he would want to date someone who is also doing well in their career." Moreover, Cooper has never been married, so Olsen needn't worry about a Sarkozy 2.0. However, there has been little tattle about these two since the gossip first surfaced. Is Mary-Kate simply opting to keep things low-key? Her lips are sealed. If you or anyone you know needs help with addiction issues, help is available. Visit the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration website or contact SAMHSA's national helpline at 1-800-662-HELP-4357.